Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Fajar Khaerul Ramadan from English Education Department, Teaching, Training, and Education Faculty, Universitas Pandasaki Tegal. And today I would like to present my article entitled The Effectiveness of Kahoot in Improving Students' Vocabulary Skills of 8th grade Students. First is background of the study. The 8th grade students at SMP Negeri 3 Brebes struggle with vocabulary skills due to their 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 class, which studied by traditional teaching method, which have led disengagement and lower motivation. However, according to the researchers' observation, when digital tools are used in teaching, students demonstrate increased engagement and motivation. Second, a strong vocabulary is essential for language mastery, significantly affecting student ability to communicate and understand text. However, conventional teaching methods such as memorization and repetition drills frequently fail to captivate students and maintain their interest. Studies indicate the necessity of implementing creative and interactive methods to tackle these problems. Previous studies have some previous studies have proven the effectiveness of Kahoot or interactive quiz to improve their students' vocabulary skills. For instance, the study by Hamza notes that the interactive activities can encourage meaningful discussion and enhancing the learning experience. The interactive quiz are increasingly popular for improving learning outcomes and motivation students. According to Lee et al., it can the interactive quiz can emphasize that interactive quiz greatly enhance student motivation by promoting engagement in learning. And then move to methodology. The approach, types, and design of the research. The approach of this research was quantitative approach with experimental design involving two groups, which is experimental and control group. The population sample and technique of sampling in this research, the top was at age grade of SMP Negeri 3 Brebes in academic years 2026-2025. The sample of this study consists of two classes. Each group consists of 30 students, resulting total sample of 60 students, and the sampling used cluster random sampling. Additionally, the total population of the student of age grade student and in SMP Negeri 3 Brebes academic year 2025-2026 was 330 students. And time and place of the research. This research was conducted from July 2023 to August 7 August 2025. It took over 8 meetings, which is the first and the last meetings was used to pre-test and post-test instrument, and the rest meetings was used for treatment. And the data collection technique and research instrument. This research will use vocabulary tests, which consists of 20 items of multiple choice vocabulary tests, and the instrument was pre-test and post-test. Additionally, the technique of analyzing data used normality test and homogeneity test. These two tests was conducted before the hypothesis test, namely independent and paired sample t-test, was namely independent and paired sample t-tests conducted. And move to findings and discussion. The first is descriptive statistic. The descriptive statistic, according to this research, it showed that the both group have same increase meanings, but the experimental group have higher mean score than control group. It indicates that the treatment or the use of Kahoot application in experimental group can uh, can improve their student can improve the students vocabulary skills. And then move to normality and homogeneity test. The normality test in the left side use Shapiro Wilk test because of the population were small to moderate. And as for the normality test, if the significant value were more than 0.05, it was the data normally distributed. And according to the result of normality test, all the significant value was higher than 0.05, indicating that the instrument were normally distributed. And as for the homogeneity test in the right side, use a Levenet test. It is because of the population were small to moderate. And as for the homogeneity test, if the significant value were higher than 0.05, it means that the variance between two groups are equal or homogeneous. And according to the result of homogeneity test, in the right side here, all the significant value were higher than 0.05, indicating that the variance between two groups are equal. And move to paired sample t-test and independent sample t-test. Paired sample t-test is compare the pre-test and post-test of experimental group. And the rules is if the significant value to tell were lower than 0.05, it means that the difference are significant between before and after conduct the treatment. And according to the result of paired sample t-test in the left side here, the significant value were lower than 0.05, indicating that the difference is significant between the students who thought use conventional method and the student who thought use Kahoot application for vocabulary to improve their vocabulary skills. And move to independent sample t-test. Independent sample t-test is compare the post-test of compare the post-test score of experimental and control group. And according to the and as for the rules for independent sample t-test, if the significant value were lower than 0.05, it means that there is significant difference between two groups. And according to the result in the right side here, the significant value were lower than 0.05. Significant to tail were lower than 0.05. It means that there is significant difference between two groups. And we move to the discussion. The findings of the study provide strong evidence that the use of interactive quizzes, particularly Kahoot, can significantly improve student vocabulary skills compared to conventional teaching methods. And as for the conclusion, the use of interactive quiz, the use of Kahoot application was effective in improving student vocabulary skills, as shown by the higher post-test score of the experimental group compared with the control group. And students who learn through Kahoot or in show that greater engagement and motivation during the learning process, which contributes to better vocabulary acquisition. Therefore, the interactive quiz media can be considered or recommended as an effective and appropriate strategy for teaching vocabulary to 8th grade junior high school students. And as for the suggestion, the teachers are encouraged to use interactive quiz platform as Kahoot to make vocabulary learning more engaging and effective. Students should actively participate in interactive learning activities to improve their vocabulary mastery and motivation in learning English. And the third, schools are recommended to support the use of technology-based learning media by providing adequate facilities and training. The last one, future research are suggest to investigate interactive quizzes in different contexts, skill or larger samples to obtain broader findings. I think that's all for my presentation. Thank you for your nice attention and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.